Good afternoon to all. I was a schoolboy in a small town, Pudukkottai. My father used to take me to villages. We used to take a pile of books in our cycle and we go to the villages and put book stalls. The books will be ranges from rupees 3 to 5, not more than that. But the purpose of putting that book stall is to make the books available for the landless and the wage laborers to purchase those books and read them. If you mind it, we would have sold not more than 50 rupees in a day. But those were the days my father was sharing his life experience, especially how he was orphaned after his mother's death and how he was raised by a priest in slums of Tanjavur. Those days, the villagers used to ask me to read books for them. That's how I started reading books, especially the story books. And one such story that struck my mind was the story of Maxim Gorky, the Russian writer who is famous for his novel, The Mother. But this story is not about a mother, it's about a father. The story is, one day, the mother called the son and informed him that his father passed away. And the son was asking his mother that, what is the meaning of passed away? And the mother was replying that, your father is dead. You can't see him anymore. The boy was seeing the father's body and the rituals going around. The father's body was kept in a corpus, in a coffin, taken to the burial ground, the cemetery, buried in the pit. After the prayers, the boy returned home. He was very sad and he was sad for the rest of the 3 days. The mother called him, consoled him not to worry about the father's death. And the boy replied that he was not worried about the father's death, but there were 2 live frogs in the pit where the father's coffin was placed and buried. Even though many people noticed those frogs, no one cared about them. And he was asking a question to his mother that, is there a difference between life that are small and big? This question struck me. Is there a difference between life that are small and big? In return of all these stories that I was sharing with the villagers, they were replying me a lot of their stories. The stories on deities, the deities of the oppressed, who raised voice of the voiceless, who were killed or dead. And one such story is the story of Solkela Veeran. Solkela Veeran is a story about a youth, a young guy who want to ride a horse. Is riding horse that important? Yes, it is important if you are not allowed to ride a horse. If you are not allowed by the societal reasons, then you can ride the horse and it is very, very important. The Solkela Veeran, the boy, was talking to his friends, his parents, that he wants to ride the horse. Everyone warned him that you should not ride the horse. If you are riding the horse, then the villagers will kill you. But despite of all these warnings, he claimed the horse, he rode the horse in the village and he was killed by the people. And he became the warrior, the disobedient warrior, which means Solkela Veeran, the disobedient warrior. This story was again asking the same question that, is there a difference between life that are big and small? Moving on to my college days, I was into volunteerism and few charitable organizations, working with them. But that was not enough for me. On the other side, I was not brave enough to be part of any of the protest that was going around me. I just go and observe the protest, understand how it happens, how it impacts the life, and how it is driven. But I don't participate because I was not brave. I used to write letters to my father asking that how I can be more relevant with the poor, especially with the marginalized. Then his answers would be, focus on studies. It is very frustrating for me, but I focused on studies. I did my engineering in Anna University and my master's in NIT Raipur. I won a gold medal in NIT Raipur. Then I got 2 options ahead. One is to enter into research in esteemed institution of India, and second is the SBA Youth for India Fellowship Program. I was in a dilemma to choose what to go with. One, the road that is often traveled after masters, and the road which is less traveled to work with the grassroots. There is a saying that the teacher appears when the student is ready. And luckily I met a teacher in a form of a Buddhist monk in my train journey. He was sharing the story of a mentor who is also a Buddhist monk. And the story is, the Buddhist monk, who was a herbal healer, travels from one village to another, collecting all the herbs that are available in the road, tries to heal the people who are sick in the villages. After healing the people in the villages, he moves to the next village and tries to heal the people in the village. And he met a family who are very sick. And the major reason for sickness is hunger. The family was landless. So he fought with the villagers and bought a piece of land. The land was barren, not cultivable, but he turned it into cultivable with a lot of hard work with the family. It took 1 year to feed those families and to move them out of the hunger and out of the sickness. After this 1 year, after healing them, he moved from that village to heal rest of the people in the next village. And I learned that even if it takes 1 year to change life of one person, it is important. Then I joined SBA Youth for India Fellowship Program. To be brief about the SBA Youth for India Fellowship Program, it's a 13-month fellowship program, which invites fellows from all over the world, places them in rural India to work with the grassroots for 13 months, where they will learn how to work with development sector and how to be a change agent. I was placed in Assam to work with Bodo tribal communities. Bodo tribal on those days are known for witch hunting. They kill the people in name of witch. And government was trying to stop those witch hunting. And I was working with those women to empower them in integrated fish farming. I got a project from a funding agency to work with 500 women, train them towards integrated fish farming. I was very much motivated that I am going to change life of 500 people in just 1 year. I organized them. I trained them. We were contested in lots of models in integrated fish farming. We were ready for implementation. We are waiting for the funds. We are waiting, and the funds got delayed, and further delayed. People lost the hope, not only on the project, but also on me. I tried everywhere, but I could not source any funds. Then finally, I lost hope on myself. I was completely shattered. Though my co-fellows were consoling me to move out of it, but I couldn't, because actually I was jealous of my co-fellows that they are progressing and I'm not progressing. I was worried, I cried, then decided it's time to quit the fellowship in midway. I called my father, informed him, and he replied, "You can quit the fellowship anytime, it doesn't matter. But are you the first person to face all these challenges for doing something good? Am I the first person to face all these challenges? No, I am not." So I decided to continue the fellowship. I went to the village. I want to apologize for my mistakes to the people, but I don't know the tribal language. So I conveyed my apologies in my native language, that is Tamil. I cried before them. They came towards me, embraced me, consoled me, motivated me, and few of the farmers, the women farmers, invested themselves in integrated fish farming. We implemented, but not with 500 families, just 20 families. Even though the project impact was very small, the fellowship impact on me was very big. For the first time, I learned how to apologize to the villagers. And also I learned that poor communities can drive their own development. Many of the fellows, they go into academics after the fellowship. Some, they go back to the industry, and very few, they stay in the grassroots. And I decided to stay in the grassroots. I worked with Dan Foundation, where I got an opportunity to work with backwater fishing community. In Point Calumet Wetland Complex, backwater channels are the man-made channels, not like Alapula. It's a very small channel that facilitates the backwaters to flow into the mudflats. It helps the mangroves to thrive. But without these backwaters, the mangroves will die. And it's what happened when the mangroves died after Gaja cyclone. These backwater fishermen are the marginalized fishermen among the fishing community because they fish by hand. They start their day at morning 4 o'clock with a head torch. They walk into the swamps half submerged and they reach the net in 3 to 4 kilometers. They carry all the fishes, around 20 to 25 kgs of fishes head loaded, and they walk back in the swamps with 3/4 submerged. They reach the market at morning 10 o'clock, then only they can sell the fish. This is what drudgery they are going day to day life. But the same backwater fishers are the people who maintain the backwater channels. Without these fishermen, the backwater channels will die. Without these backwater channels, the mangroves will die. Now the mangroves are dead after the cyclone. It was completely silted. And the backwater fishers moved from backwater fishing to the mainland fishing, that is sea fishing. They became the wage laborers. We got an opportunity to work with them. We organized them, motivated them, and we understood the indigenous knowledge that they have on mangroves and also backwater channels. Then we got some funding. We helped them in restoring the channels. They restored the channels. Not only they restored, they invested on restoring the channels. You have to mind that the marginal people, they invested in restoring these channels. Not just one channel, they restored 97 channels in just 2 years and helped 500 hectares of land to be with regeneration of mangroves. From this, I learned that the backwater fishers, the fishermen, whose big toe are turned inward since they are walking in the swamps for long life, are the people who are saving the mangroves generation after generations. And I also learned that marginals plays key role, very important role in conserving the environmental commons. With all these experiences, currently I am working in restoration of urban water commons and also degraded lands. We are facilitating poor people, especially the resource poor, the landless, to get involved in restoring the urban water bodies and also degraded lands. So far we have restored 45 urban water bodies and 30 acres of degraded lands, and also facilitated 80 plus fellows and interns in the grassroots to taste the essence of development. I am Elamuhil, development professional, working with grassroots for 8 years, but still I have a question. Am I relevant? Am I relevant to work with the communities who are resource poor and marginalized? Can I be more relevant? Am I with the frogs the boy was concerned about? Thank you.